Testing, testing. 1, 2. Can you guys hear me? I'm just doing a quick check mic real quick. Oof, I already inversed it. I'm just gonna let a few people join in the chat, but welcome to whoever's joined in so far. Talk about what happened today, huh? Sunday night, we bomb Iran, and then we end up pretty much we opened gap down, and we shot right back up. Off market open, everybody was shorting, popped up a little, came down crazy this morning. What a nice little heater, swept London lows, swept Asia lows. Or Asia highs, I'm sorry. And then, honestly, I didn't even catch the divergence. And I didn't catch the move up. I only caught the move down early in the AM. I usually trade only the mornings if I'm trading New York session. Or I'm usually trading Asia session, which is usually from 8 till whatever time. Usually once I'm done trading, I tend to just recap the trade and call it a day. Right now we're just watching how it's reacting. This is the weekly high from the previous week. Those are main key pivot levels that I always look for when I'm trading futures. We already inversed an FBG up here. Let's see. I want to test lower, but I gotta see. We might test for London or for PM previous day highs and just retest there, but I almost want to let it go more down just to be safe. Maybe wait for a rejection of this weekly high candle, and then I'll take a nice stab. Awesome, thank you guys. I appreciate you guys. How's the quality? How's the sound and the quality? Would be dope to know how that looks. Awesome. Starting to get a bit more action here. Slower PA, as you guys could tell, we just been consolidating here on the sides, but on ES, just pretty small range. NQ, pretty small range to start off with. I could see us coming back down, like I said, retesting down here. Just to see, maybe, just to retest the previous day highs. Here we go. We're testing again. We'll see what happens. A little bit of an echo. Let me see if I can fix that. I might be able to.
Is the echo better? Like, is the echo gone? This might be a little bit better. We just had some volume step in, as you guys can see down here. We've also consolidated, so the market's going to choose a direction. The question is which direction, so we wait for a key reaction at any of these pivot levels. So right now, I can get rid of a lot of my intraday levels. I still like to leave previous day for now, for tonight's session. And yep, there's only one more level that hasn't been taken there. ES is pretty close to a higher time frame  Not too far. That might be saved for tomorrow. check this out. I'll do 2 screens, make it a little less. I'll play this one in the bigger time frame right now. We're right at the weekly high on both NQ and ES, which means they're correlating, moving the same way. I got it right away. If we got a strong, no, that FVG's already been mitigated. I'm not really looking to chase anything, honestly. I'll let it choose a direction and maybe catch it at another low. This wick is really far extended though. We'll see. For anyone that's just getting started with trading, my name is Pancho. I've been trading options, futures the past 2 years, options for the past 4 years. That's originally what I started with. If you guys would like to learn how to get started or how to trade, you guys could find a link down below for Take Profit Trader or Tradeify. You guys could work with either one of these companies. They have evaluation accounts that you can practice with, but then also work your way up as well to, in the future, take payouts and get into trading. And please, if you guys have any questions, I'd love to see it. I got a chat on the big screen for the chat right here in front of me. We'll love it if you guys could ask questions, regardless of anything. Someone told me there's still a little bit of an echo. Let me see if I can fix that for you guys. Let me see if I can fix this echoing. I'm still watching, nothing's happening yet. Sometimes it's just about patience, waiting on it. Yeah, so right now, what I did basically was I popped up a chart. I have NQ on one side, which is the main, I guess you could say the main sector / stock contract that I trade, which is futures related to technology. Keeps track of all the major big tech stocks and bigger tech stock companies or bigger tech stock names. The S&P 500, that's the one that you see here on my right hand side. That's the one that we tend to top 500 companies in the world, right? It could be like Apple, Google, Nvidia. And what I'm doing right now is I'm putting them side by side because they're technically supposed to move or correlate or move in the same direction, right? When there's divergence, meaning like in this example, right off this morning, we swept this low, right, from this previous low, and then we did the same thing on ES, but opposite, right? This same low here was swept on NQ, and it was not swept on ES. But then we came down, we swept both of these lows, and then we swept this previous low, right? Meaning that they were not correlating. If NQ put a lower low, but ES put a higher low, right? That's called divergence. So I look for these in my charts, and obviously after that divergence, right, they grabbed all these orders, all this buy side liquidity that was sitting down here, and right after that, they ripped it right back up to make higher highs than the previous day high, which to me today was a crazy day. Especially with all the news, and I'm trying to fix this. Can you explain that? So, and to explain that in a more, I guess, concept or more simple terms, meaning that when they're not moving the same, it means that there's going to be a change in direction. Meaning when one puts a higher high and one puts a lower low, or a lower high, I'm sorry, right? maybe one's like this, maybe one's like this, maybe one's like this, right? That means that there could be a potential for a reversal to come back to the downside. Same thing for the downside or for the upside, right? Here we can clearly see a low and then a lower low being swept. And then here we see a low, but then we see a higher low. Yet we came down, we grabbed all these orders that were sitting down here, and now from here we can clearly take it back up to upside, and we can target previous day high like we did in this case. And now it seems like it's starting to take off. Let me see what this one is doing. ES did go past this high, so it might take a little long. I need ES to, or I need NQ to move. Similarly, here we held this FEG right here, and it ripped and I missed it. It's okay. And now I can also look on bigger time frames. What I usually like to do is I like to go on bigger time frames. I like to scale it down. Obviously, as you can see, there could be a lot of things on my screen, by the way. I tend to just leave my levels up. I don't use indicators besides VWAP. I draw level to level analysis, so I draw lines for highs and lows or big areas of interest. And I use FEGs. FEGs have been a big part of a big implementation to my trading. And I wish I could say I would chase here, but I won't. Just because I don't know if they're sweeping here, here. We have equals right here. Some decent volume stepped in a little earlier when all these orders got absorbed. Makes sense. Came down right here and bounced. There were some unmitigated orders there. This is kind of why I didn't want to chase. Usually you could see here, right? Swept this high on hindsight, right? We're just sweeping liquidity, hunting liquidity. Here we swept liquidity. We didn't sweep these up here though. So I think I'd rather wait to see just what's being next, what's going to be hunted for next. We are super elongated, so we eventually are due for a pullback to then continue back up to the upside. Because the last pullback that we had was here, and all it did was generate more liquidity to continue going higher. Now we're talking. You see, swept these highs, swept there. I'd even take this on a 2-minute, maybe inverse it, but I have to see the move. I have to see the move completely sweep this, honestly. I almost want to take it to downside just because we're hanging around this weekly area, but if we hold around this area too, the bad part is we can only target lower time frame or bigger time frame FEGs, which could take some time to tap into. Could happen tonight, could happen tomorrow. And I kind of don't want to push. I have a feeling we're going to end up re-tapping back down here. Like I said, just seeing these bigger time frames on the 30-minute, for example. 30-minute is technically still a bull flag. But then again, we eventually have to retrace. This technically is still set up for more upside, actually. Let's see. I don't think we can pull back yet. It's too soon. Way too soon. And they probably held that FEG. Yep. Look at this. If I would have shorted. That's why you always wait for confirmation or a full candle close above or below. Kind of watch. gonna send you a message. What would you have to turn it off? Let me see how it looks. No, I'll turn it back on. It should look. Actually, turn it back off. Thank you. Gotcha. As someone who has been trading for a while, what advice? What can you advise a complete beginner to avoid? That's actually a really good question. Shit. First things first is when I started 4 years ago, I had no mentor. I started from zero. I had no one to tell me, hey, don't do this. Hey, don't do that. Hey, try not to full port your whole account size, right? There was quite a few factors that I think could help someone that's starting off. One is don't put real money on the line until you've learned how to use the broker or the software that you're trying to trade through, whether it's Webull, Robinhood, Tradeovate, TradingView, whatever it is that you're using, whether it's for charting and executing. The second mistake, or the second thing that I would recommend, or the advice I can give for something else to avoid would be learn how to read the charts first. Learn how to just sit there, and it might sound boring, it might sound like watching paint dry, but you have to watch the charts. The more hours, the more time you spend on the charts, the more you're going to be able to really focus on what's happening and how to understand the auctions, right? The market's an auction. We buy and sell. Another thing that I would really recommend and avoid doing that I did, right, like I said, was, or maybe I mentioned it earlier, I definitely ended up starting off with, like I said, zero help. Find a mentor. Finding someone that can help show you what or trading discipline looks like, meaning psychology. Psychology is a big foundation of this. And the second thing that I would recommend is through having that mentor, it'll also allow you to see someone perform and justify and have reasoning behind why they're taking trades, right? You're not just pressing a button, right? Anybody can press a button. If the odds were 50-50, wouldn't most people have all the luck in the world and keep, having the luck to potentially keep multiplying it, right? That's one example. I did struggle in the past, right? I would say my biggest struggles when I first started was, one, not having a mentor to show me, guide me, teach me. I taught myself, right? Until I finally did learn from a mentor. The second thing would be just psychology. Sometimes I still find myself, right, where you get a little trigger happy. It's too easy to, you're hot, you made $500, $1,000, $2,000 in a day. You go, what the heck, maybe what's another trade? And then you go from risking partially profits to all your profits, and then you just go down this funnel, which, saying it out loud, it's easy. When you're actually in it, to stop yourself and, having proper risk management and really having the discipline to stop trading, that's a whole different psychology ballgame that I can go into some other time. But for sure, take the initiative to get a mentor and get the education. Take your time in learning how to look at the charts, the saying, watch paint dry. And for sure, try to become very familiarized at executing, whether it's stocks, options, whatever you're doing, futures in this case, right? Learn how to execute fast, right? The market can move very quick, and sometimes action, making a quick decision could be the difference between a good trade and a bad trade. Good questions. I appreciate everyone putting in a question in the chat. This has generated so much liquidity and swept here, and ironically, it still hasn't swept here. And we had a huge reaction of buyers down here, which is good. But if I don't really have an area to hold in through, if I don't find a strong support, I have the weekly. We're holding the weekly time frame very well, but we also could just chop around here until we finally decide to make the move happen, which is fine. We don't have to chase after anything tonight. Probably put this one in the 5. As you can see here, for anyone that's new to trading, we're in a series of higher highs and higher lows, right? Right after this morning, once we swept liquidity, it went on a hell of a rampage back to the upside, right? We went higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher high, right? Higher lows, right? Higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher high, higher high, higher high. And then the same thing again, right? Higher low, and now we're anticipating a higher high. And good questions, man. I like the questions coming in. I like it when we all learn something from each other. One of the biggest things that I took away when I first started trading was learning from other traders. I didn't just watch one guy. When I first started, man, I was watching like 3, 4, 5, 6 traders, and they were all trading in a different way, whether they were trading options, penny stocks, or stocks. What was in relation to all three of them, that they were all three doing at the same time? They all had very good trading psychology. They all had very good risk management, because you have to be able to protect your profits for you to be able to keep stacking them and have them continue to grow, right, or compound, depending if you're investing. And 1 second, guys, I might take my entry here because the weekly's holding here, and I wouldn't put much risk on the table. And I'm gonna try to let this one play out. If I were to choose my targets, I'd probably end up going. I will target this previous high. Probably could end up getting taken overnight. And I'll walk you guys through what I'm seeing, what I'm planning. So, like I mentioned before, higher highs, higher lows. And here we can see a big area of consolidation. Consolidation, to put this into a simple terminology, it's a barcode. It means chop. It means just when it's going up and down and they're just grabbing orders left and right, right? They see where people are putting their stops at the high and where people are also putting their stops at the low. Market makers come in, they come, grab your order, and then they bring it back the opposite direction. So that being said, and by the way, this is a $100,000 account. Fresh $100,000 account. All right, let's go through some questions just in the meantime. When we get filled, and we'll tap for higher highs. If we don't, this might just chop around this area till tomorrow. But as of right now, we're just gonna continue to play the bull flag trend. So, someone asked, do you prefer short-term or long-term investment? And if you prefer one or the other, why? So this is a really common question from anyone that comes to trading new. I will say this: if you're day trading, higher risk equals higher reward, right? Right now, you might see me make 200, you might see me make 500 in 30 minutes, but at the same time, you can also see me lose money, right? You can also see me take a hit at any point and lose the $275 stop loss. It's a lot riskier because you have to decide what you're going to do with your position within minutes, seconds, sometimes by the end of the day, or if you're going to hold, and go into the following day, that's a swing trade. That's no longer a day trade, right? If you're holding if you don't close your position or make money or lose money by the end of the day when the market closes, right, and you carry that play into the next day, that's called a swing trade. But if you make your money that day before the end of the day, when the stock market closes, that's a day trade. In investments, I think it's very important to move your money around in different pools. Whether you invest in in ETFs, whether you invest in the index in actual index funds, whether you invest in something that has a higher % yield return. There's many different ways. I know guys who put a bunch of money into Pepsi Cola and they just live off the dividends. But to be fair, they've been purchasing Pepsi Cola for the past 8-10 years, and they're averaging at the lows, and they continue to buy and they get paid dividends back, right? They make an income off of that, which is super sweet. Another type of investment, I guess you could say, would be like a Roth IRA. You can trade within your Roth IRA, and you can put. I know the amount went up over 6,400, I think, or whatever the amount was for a Roth IRA. You can trade inside your Roth IRA and compound it faster, but also take those profits and reinvest them into ETFs, long-term stocks that have a yearly percent return of 4 to 8%, give or take, 2 to 8%. I'm sorry. It just depends on which sector you're investing that pool of money in, etc. with day trading, I would say for sure when you're investing right, you can buy the stock today, for example, for $100, and you can let it mess around for 3 months to see if it goes up a few bucks or goes down a few bucks, right? With day trading, right, you're risking a certain amount of capital. You're risking a certain amount of capital in that moment to make fast money, basically, or whether you're holding it for a few minutes, hours, or seconds, right? You're going in with this, you're risking a certain amount of money that day, so it's a lot more risky. Like I said, there's been days where I blinked and no bullshit, I've lost 500, 1,000, 4,000 in a blink of an eye. And sometimes that's just something that we can't prevent. The market is manipulated. It'll do whatever it wants, and it will rip you apart whatever way it wants. There's an old saying that says the friend is your trend. So if the market's in a bull run, right, the old saying, buy low, sell high, right? Many people tell you to do that, but they don't really know what that means. How do you know when you're buying low? You can look at the price in a line chart, but realistically, I mean, this is just me, right? In a nutshell, if I was doing that, can you really tell where the actual high and low is on a chart that looks like this? You know, like highs and lows? You really can't. If you look at a candle chart, right, for example, and you look at the daily time frame, right? Everyone that I've taught, which there's a few viewers I know in here that I've taught in the past and I've mentored as well. Here, something as simple, I know this is going to sound funny to you guys, but something as simple as called like a bull flag, right? A bull flag is literally the flagpole. The flag, it generates liquidity, or it consolidates, it creates a little barcode, and then it finishes off the move, right? The move continues in its favor. That's why it's called the bull flag. Think about a bull having its horns up, right? Bull flag. A bear flag would just be the opposite. Here we have a ginormous one, right? This is the daily time frame. This is a way bigger time frame. Here's the flagpole. Here's the flag, and look at that drop straight to down. So that's another example. So there's a lot of different ways you can approach the market. You can trade with lower risk. You can trade with higher risk. It just depends your style. Everything that I'm doing is obviously day trading related, but if you didn't want to day trade, you can always go long term. Just invest for a longer period of time. All right, we'll let that one show. And let me see what other questions there was. Good questions, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you. And are you waiting for a breakout? Yes, I am waiting for a breakout. I saw this FEG hold pretty nicely here. So I'm expecting price to make its way up, but it's taking a little longer than I like. Again, I'm only risking a little bit on the table. I'm not risking nothing crazy. And ES looks like it's doing the same thing. So we'll see what happens right now. By the way, ticks here, for those of you that don't know, ticks is just every 25 cents. If I change that to a money amount, then you'll see how much I'm winning and losing. But I like to put ticks just to kind of take the money concept away and follow my plan and allow the move to happen to my expected target. And right now, I'm not going for anything crazy. I'd probably go for a solid maybe 20 points, take a trim, maybe 25 points. So 266. And I'll let the other ones run to wherever they want to run. Whoa, what just happened? So what I did right now is I put a limit order here to sell 5. I have 10 M&Qs right now. I will sell 5 here, and I'll hold the other 5 to my remaining target. I might even let them run overnight. It's probably, what was it, like $1,200 profit if it hits my full position up here. So maybe halfway, $800 maybe. We'll see what happens. So here we see the same thing, right? Where it's a little bull flag inside a big bull flag, right? Flagpole, the flag, and then the rip. And then again, flagpole, the flag, and expecting another pop. Let's see if we don't get taken out, but so far, it seems like this is going to generate, it's generating pretty good liquidity. And we're holding the weekly high on ES, which is good. I still see this setting up quite a bit for the upside. It's not really, it's not letting it go. And I can't really say we're hitting a big wall just because of how much there is up here. Another question someone asked was, how much money on average would you need to start investing time, money into day trading? So me personally, guys, I ended up, when I first started, right, I started with about $5,000 at a time. That was a lot, by the way. That's a lot of money to start with in trading options, especially because of how easily you could lose that, especially if you don't know what you're doing or you just end up full porting the whole account. And no, I did not flip the first 5,000. I completely lost the first 5,000, probably in 2 days, honestly. I probably blinked and I lost it all. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. And when you're starting, like I said, I would recommend probably getting started with trading futures. When I first started trading, there's a rule called PDT rule, pattern day trading. Pattern day trading. Pattern day trading is basically, if you don't have $25,000 of your own hard cash in an account, right? If you have 25,000 or more of your own cash in an account, you can make as many trades as you want. You can trade Apple, Nvidia, Google, and do 6 trades, 5 trades, 4 trades, right? But if you have less than 25,000 in a personal account through Robinhood, Webull, whatever it may be, the PDT rule, the pattern day trading rule applies to you, meaning that you can only make 3 trades per 5 business days per week. So meaning that if you buy Apple today for, use this for example, or if you buy a stock for $100 and then you sell it 5 minutes later for 105, meaning you made it $5, you closed out the position, you're completely out of it, whether you made money or lost money. In this case, you made money. Well, that's one trade. That means you only have 2 bullets left for the rest of the day. With futures, you don't need a lot of capital to start up. There's something called prop firms. Prop firms, which you can find the links down below, and when you're starting to trade options, just to go back to that before I go into detail about prop firms, because this is something that I actually just had a conversation with today, and it's hard for people to believe sometimes. When you're just starting off, I would try $500, $300, because if you can't multiply $300, $500, what makes you think you can leverage and continue to grow, $10,000 or even $5,000 for example, right? You don't have to start big to make a lot of money. On my Twitter, I've posted trades where I've only risked maybe less than $300, and I flipped it into over $1,000 as soon as market opened the next day. I swing traded them, right? I bought them the day before, right before market closed at 3 p.m., and then I sold them right at market open at 8:30 the next morning, right? So that's another really good example. $1,000 tends to be the sweet spot for most people. Me personally, if somebody was starting to trade and they already had some type of back testing and experience, getting their feet wet, $2,000 is not a bad place to start. Again, you're not going to trade with all $2,000, right? If you're trading with $2,000, if you have a $2,000 account, try trading with a $200 position, right? Try trading with a $500 position. Don't use 100% of your portfolio, right? It's a lot easier when you're first starting. You might get lucky on the first one. I've had people come to me, I just made, $300, and then they lost it all, and including all their money, because they thought they had it, or they got lucky once, right? And we've all been there. We've all had our we're up here, and then we get humbled by the market, and we get straight brought back down here. So it's happened. It's happened to me. It's happened to many traders. It's not just myself. And another question I saw. And no problem. Absolutely. I would love to answer any questions. Would you guys like me to talk about how prop firms work? Maybe a lot of you guys are new here, don't know how prop firms work. Oh, I'm sorry. Earlier, somebody asked PDT rule. 25,000 is what I meant to say. 25. If you do not have $25,000 in a personal account, you cannot make unlimited trades in a day, basically. Every single day you're balanced. When the market opens, you're supposed to have $25,000 or more, so you can make as many trades as you want. If you have less than $25,000 in an account, you can only make 3 trades per 5 business days. It's called the PDT rule. And like I was mentioning, if you guys want me to talk about prop firms or how they work or want a little more information, would love to explain them to you guys. I think it's valuable information because you don't have to risk your own money, and you can get $50,000, $100,000, $150,000 accounts, and you can leverage that money. You can play up to 5 accounts at the same time with some prop firms, or you could even trade up to 20 accounts with some other ones. Won't name names on some, right? Worked with them in the past, not a fan, or just a lot of discrepancies. And the ones that I currently work with, very, very solid. Slower price action today. We had a bit of volume react. So meaning there's buyers sitting here. Question is, how much higher can we go? If you guys want to see this in dollar amount, I could do it in dollar amount too, but it's up to you guys. I don't really care. Let's see what ES is doing here. ES is set up on a nice 15-minute too. I mean, it could chop here, obviously, but it's holding that weekly high. That's why my conviction is so high. Same way here. Here is the same thing as this, right? Every 25 cents or every dollar that this stock that I'm in, every dollar that it goes up or down, I make or lose $20. So once you see 4 ticks, that's $1. It'll show $20 here, for example. We'll see if we can break out of these highs. Looks like we might be able to. We might attack these highs here, and then it'll give me a nice 20 points, and then I'll move my stop loss to break even, and we let the rest do its work. And sorry about the echo, you guys. I'm trying to figure out how to fix that issue. I wonder if it's because I don't have padding in the back, right? I wonder if that might be it. I don't know. Just saying. Just saying. If we hit TP on Asia session, I might have to play a song. I'm not going to say what song, but I'm going to have to play a song. I really would like ES to continue holding this and this right here. If ES holds this 5-minute, we're solid. If ES rips right now and wipes out this high, like I said, NQ is going to follow through, and we'll continue to see that upside. I won't minimize risk, really. Because even if it made it a lower low, that might give me the validation. If it breaks out of this, if it wipes out this sell side liquidity here, and we get closer to my PT, I'll minimize risk. If not, I'm just going to continue to let it dance around, risking 275 to make $800. That's a pretty good day. We might hit TP a little sooner than anticipated. First string, catch a green trade, 500. That'd be great. Alright. Let's get it. I didn't even realize this, but we had a huge reaction off VWAP. Why do I have VWAP on this? Uh-oh. Oh shit, even here. I didn't even see that. Oh, that gives me more conviction for my trade for the upside. We bounced off VWAP. We bounced off that FEG right away. I wouldn't even be surprised if I just saw a huge wick and just fucking shot up. For those of you that don't know the way that prop firms work, I'll kind of explain this in simple ways. Meanwhile, I'll just let this trade play out. Let's say I'm a prop firm. I'm a company that has money to lend to others. That if they are consistent and profitable traders, I will lend them the money, and they can take a 90-10 split. Meaning I keep 10%. I keep 10% of the 10% of the whatever profit you make, and you keep 90%. If I'm the company, you pay me $100. I will give you a $50,000 evaluation account. Does that mean that you have 50,000 physical cash? No, it's a test. That's phase one, right? In phase one, you pay me the 100. I give you 50,000. 50,000 is the account size that you need to be able to trade a certain amount of contracts. For example, here I'm trading technically one contract because one NQ. One of these, here, I'll look it up. 1 NQ is the same thing as 1 MNQ. The only difference is this one you can buy in fractions of 1/10 to equal one full-size NQ, or you can just buy one full-size NQ and it's going to cost you the same as 10 of these. Same thing, right? So that being said, if you have a $50,000 account, you can maybe only trade 3 to 5 contracts max. If you have a $100,000 account, you could trade 10 contracts. Oh, there's the wick that I wanted. Dang, that was fast. That was super quick. Honestly, shot up so high and it didn't even fill me. I don't know. I feel like the strength is still gonna be there. I'm just gonna take risk off the table. I'll let it hit my TP. Damn, that was quick for first trade on stream. Not bad. I'll take it at a whole number, 265.50. It's only $1 difference. I'll probably put a stop here for the other 10 just so I can trail one. And then I will change this order to 5. Alright, we let it continue doing its thing now. Not bad. So far, so good. I like this. 49 ticks, 46. I did say it was going to just shoot up. I called it. That's so crazy. Literally, I said as soon as it shoots up. Will I be happy with $200? That's the psychology in trading. Will I be happy with $200? Sorry to just cut off on the whole thing. Just want to make sure I minimize risk. I don't want to give them anything back, and if I get stopped off for break even, it is what it is. I either made nothing or I made my 500 or 800. Whoa! Oh shit! That was way faster than I anticipated. All right, now I'm definitely gonna take risk off the table though, because regardless, if it hits this, I make. And by the way, the 5 contracts that I have left is the 5 that I already sold. That already made me 200. I'm up another 200 plus. Did anybody take that trade with me? That would be crazy. I'm gonna have to go whole number just because I don't want to risk it. So this is what I mean, guys. So the whole day, right? You don't play against the market. You play it with the market. The whole day, everyone, because of the whole war news, everything that was happening, right? Everything is manipulated. I'll probably take a second trim here, real quick. Sorry, guys. Just want to make sure I take my trims properly. And then I'll leave the other two for runners. Yeah, just for that. Just because I want to have a trailing stop eventually, so that I can go higher. There we go. I did say I was going to play a song, right? If we hit TP during Asia session. Just saying, just saying. I really wish my best friend was here, my main guy. He was here. I can't lose, by the way, anymore at this point, right? It's a stress-free trade, right? I entered here. I moved up my stop losses and profit, so I'll still make $200+ regardless. Now I can minimize risk because this set a new low in the market, right? So now that this set a new low, I can let the move continue to execute and hit my next PT, and I can continue to trail this as high as I want. So even this one, for example, if I didn't want to give back most of my profit anyways, I can just elongate it, right? I can just continue to move it in this direction. Let me see how much profit I'm at for the day. I might lock it in there. It's a pretty good day if you ask me. $500 on the day. I'll still let my PT continue out because then they're going to be like, well, you didn't hold the trade until PT. And I'll be like, okay. So I'm up about 407 right now. That's okay. It's not. If I got stopped out at 375, I'll probably call it there. It'll be a short stream today. It won't be nothing crazy. I just kind of wanted to test waters. Today's the first stream, guys. Thank you to everyone who came in. I wasn't expecting the biggest crowd in the world today in case there was any, technical difficulties or anything like that. So one of my stops might get hit, but it's okay. I'm not really worried about that one. Oh, sorry. Just gonna slightly adjust it just in case. If it pulls all the way back through, it doesn't matter. We locked in about 350 today, give or take. And that's a good day in my books. Even though sometimes in the past I have said I'm done trading, and you may or may not catch an extra trade, and then sometimes I end up break even or maybe lost a little. It's happened to me in the past. We've all done it. And yes. Ooh. We might get stopped out in the play. We're at 332 profit still. I'll probably let these three run. Huh. I don't really want to let this go to zero, or at least I don't want to give back obviously $300. I'm at 334 right now, and I really don't want to give back anything, honestly. I would honestly expect a pop here in continuation. Probably keep it here. We'll see. We'll let the play continue out. Kind of want to let it sit here. See if we can get one more rip. If we can't get another one, that's fine. We'll be locked in at about $300 for the day. That's a good day. Set my stop a little too high. It's okay. Well, now that we set this low on the market, though, I'm gonna mitigate risk, and that would end my day at about 325, give or take, for tonight. Not bad for an Asia session. I'll take that any day, as long as we end the day green and there's no blown accounts or or red days. I'm a happy camper. Remember, don't chase it. Anybody that's hopping on any trades right now, don't try to like hop in the trade and just like chase it with me, right? I already have measured risk. I entered from a pretty good entry, right? Anticipating, right? We saw this hold, and going back to kind of recap as to why I entered this trade, right? Main reason why is, right? Like I said, we swept all. Well, let's go to let's keep the chart super simple. I'm gonna show you guys this on a simple chart, super simple chart. So to put this into perspective, right? Do you guys realize how for the past few days, right, we've done nothing but consolidate, right? We've kind of been trapped inside, I guess you could say, this range area here, right? That being said, I understand that I have these lows here, right? I have one low here, one low here, one low here. Now, with that being said, sorry guys. Now, with that being said, me having a low here, here, and here, what's the reason for this grab right here that we had overnight, right? We grab all the orders that are down here, and then we can clearly see that there's this low right here, and also this low. It's basically the same low that we had seen on ES, just slightly different, right? Low, and then lower low. And here, low, and then lower low.
Stop filled.
Looks like I got stopped out on the trade. Let me take a look. Sorry, guys. Just want to make sure. Looks like I got stopped out, but we ended the day for 415. Let me see if I can pop this out. Sorry guys, 1 second. I'm trying to see if I can pop this out for you guys so you guys can see this too. Looks like I'm not able to. It's alright, we'll go back to that in a second. We got stopped out, but no worries. It might continue back up. So like I was saying, right? We see the time frame, right? We see these lower lows, low, 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 and then we swept this previous low. And then we did the same thing today, right? With the whole news about the war, like I mentioned, right? This morning, everybody thought it was going to go straight down. It didn't. It actually went up this morning before it came back down. Then it came back up. And finally, we came down and we swept these lows. But I already know that we had held all of these previous days' lows, right? All this consolidation, this barcode, whatever you want to call it, chop. So me seeing all that chop, right? We saw a huge reversal, right? On bigger time frames, you can clearly see who's in control, buyers, right? All this candle wick pretty much says everything on top of the size of the candle, an engulfing pattern, right? the candle was previously fully overtaken by the candle that came next. Now, on the 5-minute, I already have mentioned this multiple times. We continue to see a trend of higher highs and higher lows. Higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, and so on and so forth. So, me mentioning something as simple as a bull flag, right? Pull, flag, rip. Flag, pull, flag, rip. Same thing again. Continuation continues. What made me justify entering my trade where I did? Well, I saw that on the weekly time frame, right? You guys saw that pink level on my chart. Let me put that line. This is this is the last week's candle, right? This is the highest that the price went to last week. This was the highest price that we were able to achieve in that time frame. Now, if I go back to my 5-minute, right, that just happened to be as well my level of support, right? So what's sitting here and here, right? We have a low and a low. And what was also sitting here at the time, VWAP, and as well as an FEG, right? That being said, right, now that we know that we have a huge reaction with this wick off here, right, we can anticipate that who's sitting here? Buyers, right? Find any good FEG? Not yet. And now that this FEG reacted, right, I anticipated the move to come up, right? Now I go to an even smaller time frame, right? Now that I can see the bull flag, and I entered the trade right here. Why did I enter the trade here? Well, for one, we have a way smaller FEG right here, and that acted as perfect support right here. I saw that no matter how much we tried, we kept trying to push the move higher. And I literally said it on the stream, if you go back. I said it's more than likely going to end up just popping straight up. Why? Because they know that there's orders up there that they need to finish grabbing, or there's that many buyers stepping into the market right now after hours when there's less volume causing it to come up. And I held the move right to my expected targets. Could I have kept my targets maybe back to near to break even? Sure, but I obviously don't want to get back all $300, right? A good day is still $334. Is the move potentially going to still continue in this trend? Possibly, it could still continue. If you guys look at the time frames, like on the bigger time frames, sorry, if you guys look at the bigger time frames, you can clearly see that these candles are they still have a pretty good strength. They have a good candle size. Not as big as this, obviously, during market hours, right, where everyone's playing from all around the world, and especially New York session, right? That's the main one that we play. But I can anticipate this move to continue to go higher, right? We continue to see the same trend, right? Higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. So I'm anticipating this move to still continue, but obviously I minimize risk and I move my stops into profit to prevent any kind of pullback. Because at the same time, all of this could have gotten swept. All these highs could have gotten swept, and then this move happens, and now all of a sudden we can see a full pullback right now. Like I said, I didn't chase the trend. My friend. The trend is your friend, right? And that's what I followed, right? All my indications were upside on top of the major support. This showed me that there's a bunch of buyers sitting down here, so shorts were not the answer unless they wanted to get absorbed. And now we just continue to see the move happen. My original TP, I believe, was the higher time frames, which I can go back to. By the way, let me see if I could find a way to show you guys the accounts, how much we're up for today nicely. There's no way to actually show this. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to see if I can show you this to you guys without I got you guys. Timestamp. Let's make it happen. Here's that same trade. 334 for the day. Not a bad day. I'll take that any day, honestly. Honestly, wouldn't chase anything. I would kind of let them, regenerate liquidity. You have a nice FEG here as well. Again, you're trying to form another flag. Maybe wait until you tap into it, or wait until you tap. Maybe you retap into another one, kind of retest this previous high right here, right? Let it kind of retap into the FEG. Then maybe there we see the move that we want or that we're anticipating back up, or let it finish generating liquidity. See if it inverses the FEG. A lot of different ones you could take. It's up to you guys. Me personally, I think I'm done for the night. I think this was a good way to kind of test waters, hop on a stream, kind of give you guys a little bit of taste of what I do. Mainly, have you guys join in, learn, trade with me. You guys could be another set of eyes, kind of just watching with me. And if you guys end up deciding to put up risk on the table and take trades with me, or you end up using my analysis or whatever I'm seeing to justify for a trade of yours, and it's logical for the risk to reward, right? I would love for everyone possible to come and join. Eventually in the future, I will be giving out free accounts. I'll be working on that through the partnership with with the affiliates that I currently have. Like I said, you can find them down below. You can either use code PANCHO at checkout, PANCHO, with Take Profit Trader, or if you like Tradeify, you can work with Tradeify as well. Both good companies, reputable, very responsive, great customer support. And both of them each have their own implementations as to why they're good. I can't really say which one I prefer, but both are very strong. And like I said, right, we come back down, nice little double top. Let me see if ES put in a divergence. No, but they're not. So ES just actually inversed, or is about to try to inverse this FEG right here. So technically this should have held. We're either going to wait for a candle close below or a candle close above. And in this case, like I said, it was more than likely don't chase, right? Once you start seeing again some chop, that's why I took risk off the table. It's why I adjusted my stop losses into profit, right? Could I have allowed the move? Remember, I entered here, so I could have allowed the move to come all the way back down, but obviously that's not what I want, right? Now that this whole move came down, right, now we can anticipate maybe the move back down. Let's see what we find. Thanks, I appreciate that. Thank you. I hope you guys enjoyed my first stream. I'm not a professional, but hope you guys really enjoyed it. I won't chase this one. First stream, knock on wood somewhere. Oh, here we go. Knock on wood somewhere. Let's continue the green streak. Hopefully I can go green, end every stream green, and continue to make profit with you guys. I'll show you guys more of what I do. I'll show you guys what I'm watching for, what I'm hunting for, whether it's, sell side liquidity, buy side liquidity. I'm looking for a rejection. I'm looking for a reversal. Many different ways to approach different kinds of trading. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys have any questions before I hop off, we'd love to have you guys drop some questions into the comments. We'd love to answer them. And I hope none of you chase that, by the way. Nice little trade from today. I like it. How many points was that, just out of curiosity? 22, 245. My last trim was 20 points. That was exactly 20 points basically on my trim almost. Nice. Oof, I wish I would have caught that inverse FEG now. Now I'm kind of salty, but I won't chase. Do you guys have any idea how crazy the what do you call it? How crazy that inverse would have been if I would have been able to catch that. Like I said, once we swept these highs here on ES, we swept these highs, we generated liquidity, but we failed to hold. Inverse on FEG, inverse a 5-minute FEG on ES, which should move the same, right? Which could have given you the validation to short, right? We can't anticipate to take out these higher levels, right, until we don't generate some type of liquidity, or we go down, grab it, and then we finish the move. Either direction, it doesn't matter. That would have been a pretty decent play. The only thing with this is that there's so much. What's up with all my indicators? Oh. There we go. Oh, there it is. Just wondering what the hell was happening. Oof. Someone earlier told me they were scouting this short, and I know they're seeing it right now. That's crazy. That would have been a nice profit. Sheesh. See if I would have entered there. Get my stop above the FEG. Oh, I would have only risked $100. Down to the retest. Oh, another 250. That's alright. We let it go. Let it ride. I missed the bigger move on the way down. Doesn't matter. We followed our plan. I was playing the charts, I was playing the trend. I saw my entry, which, like I mentioned, was here. Saw full candle close above, entered, held through the chop, waited for the liquidity grab up top, took my profit, minimized risk, right? Hope you guys enjoyed. I think that pretty much will wrap up today. I'm not going to sit here and chase until tomorrow morning, any type of trades. I'm just going to kind of let it here and then on a good note. Hope you guys enjoyed, and thank you to everyone that joined in once more. Tomorrow I'll be back on at 8 p.m. If you'd like to watch me trade, or just come and join and maybe trade with me, please. We'd love to have you guys. And like I said, if you're looking for any accounts or